Hey guys, everyone's day is going well. Today I'm going to be doing a review on the new VOSUN Uncia. This is a really interesting yo-yo with a great shape, and I'm really excited to do this review. Without further ado, let's jump right in. And as usual, I gotta give a shout out to VOSUN for sending me this yo-yo and making this entire video possible. Their links and everything will be in the description down below. Alright, and so first things first, here are the specs of this yo-yo. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about the design of this throw and the specs and everything like that. First things first, let's look at that shape. This is a really kind of chunky, almost more organic shape, but it does have a cut that makes it not really so organic, but it's definitely a more chunky kind of, comfortable shape to hold in the hand. It feels really, really great when you're holding it, not too sharp or anything like that, which is very nice. So as you can see, we've got some really, really big, beefy bimetal rims. On the rim right there, it has a little cool Uncia engraving, which looks nice, and below that it says VOSUN Premium Design, which looks super cool. But we've got these awesome, huge rims, then a cut, and then another cut, and then just a slope down to the bearing. So I'd almost call this just more of a chunky shape, just the way it feels in the hand, the way it fits in my hand. I kind of relate this to the Top-Yo Dominator, I guess. They kind of look a little bit similar in just that shape design, but the Dominator definitely had more, I guess, of a pronounced chunky shape. But in general, this is a really nice shape. It's definitely a more competition-oriented shape, very performance-based, and it looks really nice. And then moving on over to the cup, we can see that that bimetal rim does wrap around a good amount, which tells us that this bimetal rim is definitely going to have a strong presence with the yo-yo. And then moving on down, we actually have a really pronounced nub in the center. So it's kind of hard to tell on camera, but there's a very, very pronounced nub in that center of the yo-yo. I'm a big fan of using this design because it really increases the amount of center weight that the yo-yo has, and it can nicely counterbalance the strong rim weight. So as you can see, we've got those really big rims on there, but they're counterbalanced by a good amount of center weight, which is a really great design. Additionally, on one side of the yo-yo, there is this little kind of engraving right there. I'm not quite sure what it is, but it's a cool kind of nice little touch. It's not on the other side of the yo-yo, but just wanted to point that out. In regards to the specs, this yo-yo is not really too irregular in any dimension. Most things are pretty standard. This is just generally your very competition-oriented, classic shape, classic bimetal design. And in general, I'm a big fan of how it looks and how it feels. Alright, so now let's talk a little bit about the play of this yo-yo. So first things first, this is definitely a competition-oriented yo-yo, as I've said before. So when you throw it down, it's going to have a shockingly large amount of stability and rim weight. You can definitely feel it when you're on the, moving the yo-yo around the string. It definitely has that really nice, solid feeling. It's very, very forgiving, so you can, mess up a trick and, really try to tilt the yo-yo, and it really won't tilt that much. So it's surprisingly stable and long spinning, but definitely a more competition-oriented yo-yo. Now, I'd say in regards to whether this yo-yo feels a little bit more floaty or a little bit more heavy, I'd say it's a little bit more on the heavy side. It's not the most nimble yo-yo in the world. I wouldn't say it's floaty by any means, but you can still maneuver it around a good amount. It just doesn't have the same kind of maneuverability and change of direction speed that other yo-yos might have, but it's still decent. I mean, if you really want to push this yo-yo to the extremes, you can do that. It's just going to require a little bit more effort on your end. However, I do have to say this yo-yo does actually have a really nice feel and ring to it. So it sounds really cool when you're playing with it on the string, and it definitely has a more fun feel. It's not a stale yo-yo by any means. It doesn't just feel boring and just like your standard competition yo-yo. It does have a little bit of fun feeling to it and a nice sound. So I was very impressed with that. I think it has something to do with the fact that they have that irregular nub in the middle of the yo-yo. I really like that weight distribution because it makes the yo-yo feel a lot more interesting and you don't get bored of it as fast. Now, one thing that I do have to mention is that this yo-yo had some trouble with binds, some serious issues. I'm not sure what it is, but I was just finding a lot of my binds slipping with this yo-yo. I use Kitty Fat string, which is actually a fatter string than normal. However, I'm just finding that a lot of my binds are slipping. Maybe if you put in some better response pads, it could work out, but I just wish that this yo-yo shipped with response pads that were maybe a bit grippier and could hold onto the string a little bit better, because I'm just, for whatever reason, having a lot of issues with these binds, which really shouldn't be happening with a brand new yo-yo. But nonetheless, this yo-yo still performs very, very nicely. It's awesome for grinds as well, because it's got a really nice long spinning design, and it does have a smooth matte finish on the blue part of the yo-yo. Additionally, finger spins are pretty good with this yo-yo. I mean, it does have that nub right there, so you're going to kind of rotate around the middle for the entirety of your finger spin. There's no way to lock in there, but since it has that smooth finish, it's going to spin for a nice long time on there. Alright, so now let's do conclusion time. This is a really solid yo-yo. I think it goes for around $60, and in general, I think that's a pretty appropriate price for this. It's a nice bimetal yo-yo. It feels really, really solid and very put together yo-yo. If they fix those binds, I think this yo-yo would be really, really good, but for whatever reason, those binds are just not very good right now, so I'd love to see them kind of fix the binds, maybe fix the response pads or something, and then I'd say this is a super solid yo-yo. And I mean, for 60 bucks, getting a bimetal of this quality is really nice, and I think a lot of people are definitely going to enjoy this because it doesn't have anything super irregular that would scare anyone away. It's just a really solid competition yo-yo that just needs a little bit of work on the binds. Alright, and so that's about it for my review of the VOSUN Unica. If you guys did enjoy, be sure to leave a like, and also if you guys are new here, hit that subscribe button. It's free, you can always change your mind later. Once again, I'm going to thank VOSUN for making this entire video possible and for sending me this yo-yo. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Peace.